Try to be objective with all of my sports coverage, and listen, Jacy Sheldon objectively should be suspended for this play. I just don't know in what world, in what universe you watch that play back and you go, that was a basketball play. She was trying to make a basketball move, especially with all the angles of this.
The outrage is growing. Fans across the basketball world are fed up and demanding justice. The WNBA community is furious after Jacy Sheldon's violent hit on Caitlin Clark. Many believe Sheldon should face serious fines for an action that could have ended the career of the league's biggest star.
It's clearly targeting Caitlin Clark most of this game, and that is, that comes from a function of, she guarded her in one-on-one situations a lot up the court, and then rolled into a lot of doubles in the half court, but there was talking and chirping all game, and for me, it was punctuated by Caitlin Clark's final play before she came out of the game, where she stares Jacy Sheldon down, essentially demonstrates, she's like, if you poke me in my eye, I will shoot it in yours. And she crosses her, finds the favorite spot, free throw line extended, from the logo area, big fuck you 3 to Jacy Sheldon, yells at the Connecticut bench, yells at the crowd. Her and Jacy Sheldon come back together. Caitlin fires up the audience, basically tells Jacy Sheldon, you are a bum.
The outrage is spreading fast on social media and sports forums. Fans are calling on the WNBA to hit Sheldon with a huge fine to send a strong message. If the league won't protect its biggest star with fair officiating, then the punishment must be harsh enough to stop others from going after Clark in the future.
Clark takes the court. Her opponents act like they've been booked for a main event brawl. The WNBA is doing nothing about it. Opponents aren't playing ball. They're strategically ambushing her. They're trying to injure her. Opponents bring chaos. She brings composure. And what Sophie did last night is completely valid. The WNBA has to do something about that.
What should have been a regular Tuesday night game between the Indiana Fever and Connecticut Sun turned into yet another example of Caitlin Clark being targeted. Once again, she was treated like a punching bag while the WNBA looked the other way. But this time, Sheldon's hit was so obvious and dangerous that even casual fans couldn't ignore it.
Jacy Sheldon. There is a legitimate hatred there. If you guys have heard, this Ohio State team, this 2023 Ohio State team, hated that Iowa team. And this is Jacy Sheldon, who was Caitlin Clark's direct matchup in these games. Like I tweeted out, forget Angel, forget Dejanay, this is Caitlin Clark's one true rival.
Jacy Sheldon deliberately poked Caitlin Clark in the eye during a defensive play, an action that could have caused serious harm to the league's biggest star. What made it worse was the smug grin on Sheldon's face afterward. Fans were quick to say this wasn't just a normal basketball move. It was a targeted attack on the woman many believe has saved the WNBA from fading into irrelevance.
Funny thing about that whole Caitlin and Jacy situation last night is it's like on a if you know thing. These two have been running a friendly fade on the court for like the last 4 years. They played in college, had great battles, so I'm not surprised last night happened.
If you're enjoying this, please subscribe. What happened next was just as disturbing. After poking Clark in the eye, Sheldon kept up the aggression, grabbing her arm and digging her nails into her skin. Shockingly, the refs didn't call a foul. Then, while Clark was still reacting to the first hit, Marina Mabrey joined in, shoving her to the ground from behind.
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
The reaction to Sheldon's attack showed just how fed up fans really are. Within hours, social media erupted with calls for harsh punishment, ranging from heavy fines to full season suspensions. The hashtag Banji Sheldon began trending, and angry fans flooded her Instagram with criticism. Many called her unprofessional, bitter, and even questioned whether she belongs in a pro league at all.
It from behind or from the side, it's so obvious that she straight up leapt out towards Caitlyn and got her right in the eye. And the more I try and watch it back and you try to be objective, there is no world where this was a basketball play. And yes, she was playing tough defense on Caitlyn up until that point, but she leapt forward, and it's not like it's defensible where you can say she tried to get the ball, because her hand at that point was so far away from where the ball was. It's not like Caitlyn was dribbling the ball up near her face. How she was not ejected for this, I don't know. The broadcast was talking about it, and that's why Sophie Cunningham even had the opportunity to hard foul her at the end. I don't know what you do, but the league's got to do something.
Even big-name media voices joined the outrage. On The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon directly called out the WNBA, saying, "What is going on in the WNBA? Protect Caitlyn Clark at all costs. Please, enough of this. Please." When mainstream entertainers start speaking up, it's clear the issue goes beyond basketball. Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports didn't hold back either, calling the attackers jealous loser punks and saying they belong in a rec league where no one cares about you. This kind of attention is exactly what the WNBA wants to avoid. Negative headlines that highlight the league's failure to protect its biggest star.
Stop the fighting. He thought they meant the WNBA. What is going on? Protect Caitlyn Clark at all costs, please. Enough of this. Please.
To understand why fans want Sheldon punished so severely, you have to see just how valuable Caitlyn Clark is to the WNBA. The numbers speak for themselves. Dr. Ryan Brewer, a finance professor at Indiana University Columbus, found that Clark was responsible for 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity during her rookie season alone. That's more than a quarter of the league's financial success tied to one player, who made just $76,535 in her first year. Even more shocking, Brewer projects Clark could generate nearly $1 billion in economic impact for the WNBA in 2025. That's billion with a B, a number that blows away anything the league has ever seen. When one player brings that kind of value, letting her get targeted and hurt isn't just wrong. It's a financial disaster waiting to happen.
Bring Caitlyn Clark to the NBA right now, because the refs ain't gonna protect her. She only got one teammate, and that's her, who gonna do something about it. Like, yo, yesterday, that's malice in the palace activity. Call for it. That y'all should have been throwing hands all over the place. How do you get poked in the eye, then get thrown to the ground, and then you receive a technical foul? And don't none of your teammates want to step up, fight, squabble, none of that. They just looking like, yo, it's been, we know that y'all been targeting Caitlyn Clark now. Now, I'm even watching. I'm like, hold on, what? Like, how are y'all letting this happen? How are y'all not protecting this girl? Now, she clearly is a superstar, right? But there's plenty superstars in the WNBA, and don't none of them get treated the way Caitlyn Clark get treated. Now, y'all gonna mess up and ruin the whole numbers, your ratings, your sponsor, all that, if y'all don't have Caitlyn Clark in y'all's league. So y'all better start acting right. I'm telling you.
The WNBA's response to Sheldon's attack has been nothing short of pathetic. Sheldon was given a flagrant 1 foul, resulting in a fine of just $2,000. Marina Mabrey's technical was upgraded to a flagrant 2, costing her $400. That's less than what many people spend on a nice dinner. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham, who actually stood up for Clark, got hit with a flagrant 2 and an additional undisclosed fine. The message? Attack Caitlyn Clark and pay $200. Defend her and get punished. It's completely backwards. Fans aren't just angry, they're mobilizing. Petitions demanding tougher penalties have gathered hundreds of signatures in just days. The message is clear. The current fine system is a joke. Social media is flooded with calls for fines in the tens of thousands, arguing that anything less than a month's salary isn't a real punishment. Some are even demanding that part of those fines be paid directly to Clark, as compensation for the constant targeting she's faced.
This has been a very contentious 12 hours since the game. A lot of people on ESPN saying ridiculous things, like Monica McNutt saying she had no problem with Marina Mabrey's foul. And I look at that in comparison to the Sophie Cunningham foul, which I have seen people say has no place in the league, unsportsmanlike, when that actually is a lot more sportsmanlike than the Marina Mabrey one. Marina Mabrey was completely disconnected from the play, had nothing to do with it. There was no play even going on when Marina Mabrey did that.
The logic is clear both financially and for player safety. If Jacy Sheldon's eye poke had seriously damaged Caitlin Clark's vision, the WNBA could have lost hundreds of millions in revenue. From a business standpoint, the league's failure to protect Clark makes zero sense. She's the biggest star women's sports has ever seen. She's driving record attendance, skyrocketing TV ratings, and massive merchandise sales. And yet, the league is letting her get targeted by players with personal agendas. When teams can't sell tickets without her, when TV ratings triple when she plays, when entire arenas are changed to handle the crowd she draws, the smart business move is obvious: protect her. And that means enforcing serious financial penalties for anyone who targets her. Just consider this. The Indiana Fever's franchise value jumped from $90 million to $340 million in a single year, almost entirely because of Caitlin Clark. That's a $250 million increase. So when a player has that kind of impact, letting someone hit her with only a $2,000 fine isn't just weak, it's financially reckless.
You having Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent. She was massively successful in college, and that's transcended into the WNBA, where she's leaps and bounds above pretty much most every player there. You're allowing her to get beaten up on the regular during games, flagrant fouls, people trying to take her eye out. That's happened a couple different times last year and this year. And you're not protecting